Elle King is opening up now about that viral and bizarre incident earlier this year where she appeared to be heavily intoxicated on stage at an event meant to honor Dolly Parton. Now, this went very viral for her. She's been keeping a pretty low profile in the months since. She did issue a public apology. Now, this even led to Dolly Parton's younger sister calling her out on social media for this. A lot of fans felt as though it was disrespectful. She wasn't remembering some words of the songs. And again, the performance just didn't go over well. But to Elle King's point, things happen, people go through things, and now she's opening up in great detail about what exactly was going on in her life at the time, in that moment. And she was very transparent on this new podcast appearance that she made. Elle King also happens to be the daughter of Rob Schneider, such a great beloved actor. You've seen him in so many of those films with Adam Sandler, and just very, very funny guy. So before we continue, let's take a look at actually the original footage of her performing and then what Dolly Parton's sister had to say. She was not happy about this. And here is that footage from that infamous performance.
Good, because you ain't getting it. That's it. I'll tell you one thing more. Hi, my name is Elle King. I'm fucking hammered.
We're celebrating Dolly's birthday the good old fashioned way.
Yeah, go ahead and tell them I'm celebrating Dolly's birthday.
We celebrating Dolly's birthday with the bottle.
I'll celebrate a birthday in one way or two.
Elle, let's give him one of yours.
How about that? I don't know. Go ahead. Why don't you give me this shit? Let me see. If I tell you one thing, I can barely play another person's song. Let me see if I can play one of mine.
So this really didn't sit well with Dolly Parton's sister, who offered a lengthy response to all of this. And then we'll eventually get to as well Dolly Parton's response. This was a very messy situation, as you can see there. Let's take a look. So this is from Stella Parton, the younger sister of Dolly Parton. She wrote, "I did not see nor hear the Grand Ole Opry birthday tribute to my big sister Dolly over the weekend, but some little girl by the name of Elle King apparently cursed and insulted some of Dolly's fans by not knowing a song. She did admit to being hammered. Her word, not mine." Now she goes on to add, though, but let me just say this. It wouldn't be the first time a hillbilly went on the stage of the Opry hammered. But I guess it's okay if you're a male, but good Lord, don't ever let a girl behave that way, folks. Double effing standard if you ask me. So the Opry is apologizing, LOL. She continued, "To any little ego thinking they can learn the lyrics correctly with a half-assed listen to one of Dolly's songs. Surprise, you'll end up looking as silly as that little girl. Do your homework, people. Memorize the lyrics to Jolene. My sister loves words, a brilliant wordsmith." Now, we already know that Dolly Parton is a national icon, so how did she respond to all of this? And predictably, she responded, giving Elle King a lot of grace, and so as she should. And this is what she had to say about that situation a little while ago in an interview with People. So it says here, Dolly Parton hopes fans forgive and forget Elle King's drunken Grand Ole Opry incident. She's a great girl, she wrote. She said, Elle is really a great artist. She's a great girl, and she's been going through hard things recently. She continued saying she just had a little too much to drink. So let's just forgive that and forget it and move on. Because she felt worse than anyone ever could. And, I believe that. It's a terrible thing to go through, and that's why I think it's so cool that Elle is opening up about this and adding a little bit more context to what wasn't a great situation, but certainly something you can easily move forward through. And, with her career, this will just be a blip on the radar. This is what she had to say in this new interview. This is from Rolling Stone. It says, Elle King recalls heavy and traumatic day before drunk Dolly Parton tribute performance. And she's saying that she hadn't even slept in days and was really overwhelmed at the time that this all went down. So this is what she said. So Elle King appeared on Chelsea Handler's podcast and opened up about all of this, including how Dolly Parton reacted to all of this, which is very interesting and I think speaks a lot to her character as well. Now, she says she committed a big no-no back in January, understandably, when she cussed on stage and was hammered during this performance. She said that she'd gotten the call to perform at the tribute last minute after the headliner dropped out due to a weather. She said the day had already been difficult. She said, "I'd been going through something very heavy and very traumatic in my life at the time, and the day was a really big dealing with what I was going through and I'm still going through. And I suffer from severe PTSD. That day I hadn't eaten, I hadn't slept in days, and I was really overwhelmed. I was like a shell of myself, and that's terrible. Now, there were 2 shows apparently, and she said the first one was effing perfect, but she had one shot too many and she found herself outside of her own body. She said she barely remembered the performance, which, you can see from that footage. She goes, I know now what I said. I said, I'm Elle King and I'm effing hammered and I got the curtain dropped on me. I just get flashes of this. And then I was totally 100% disassociated. I just cut to the dressing room, me just on the floor sobbing. What have I done? And then the next day it was everywhere. She continues. She says she was mortified after the performance and she wrote apologies to both the Opry and Parton. Now, this is just really wonderful. This is a great story from her here. She said, Parton called her a few days later. It just gives me chills just thinking of what a special person Dolly Parton is, especially considering the circumstances. She said, she's just proof that angels exist. She just gave me really kind words and told me, well, Dolly's not mad at you. Why should the world be? And that made me laugh. That's the kindness from women. That's just the stuff that I've received that I'll never forget ever because I wanted to effing die. I had to remove myself from the population for a while because it wasn't getting any better. I think it's great. I think some people maybe would say, Elle, don't talk about this. Just move on. Don't bring it up again. But I actually think that was really cool that she spoke at length about it and kind of went directly into it. This will be a small blip on the radar of her career. Stuff happens and it's understandable. She was going through a lot, hadn't been able to sleep and just had one shot too many. And, even as Dolly Parton's sister pointed out, how many bros have gotten up there and been wasted? We need to give her some grace. And, I think that's what all the fans are going to do as well. But I thought that was a really cool interview she did on Chelsea Handler's podcast. That is your latest update here from CountryCast. If you're new here, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button for the latest news and updates about your favorite musicians.